Hello from London's Paddington station with a Heathrow Express service in the background just behind me. I'm heading out from London Paddington right now to Heathrow Airport to Terminal 5 on my way to New York. I'm flying with British Airways, trying their Club World product on a 777-300. Once I get to New York, I've got an interview with the US immigration authorities for global entry. So if you'd like to see how all this pans out and a flight with British Airways in the Club World cabin across the Atlantic, you're in the right place.
Traveling the world on planes, trains, trams, and more. Join Mark Hopwood as he shows you some of the great journeys he's made. Let's travel to a whole variety of destinations. Remember to drop your comment below, like and subscribe, turn on the notification button, and never miss a video.
So I'm all settled into my Heathrow Express train, the business first cabin here on the Class 387 Heathrow Express unit on my way to the airport. You know, the first time I ever flew out of Heathrow across the Atlantic was in 1979 on a TWA 747, and I remember my mum took myself and my brother to the airport. We flew out to America and met up with my dad out there, and we booked it all through TWA Getaway Vacations.
TWA presents the difference between getting you where you're going and leading the way. Taking that extra step to make flying the best it can be. That's what makes TWA one tough act to follow.
And they gave us a red TWA travel bag as part of the package, and I used it for many years. Sadly, it met its demise a long time ago, but my amazing wife has been having a look online, and many of you will be familiar with the TWA hotel that's opened in the JFK airport in New York, and I'm actually headed there on this trip. We'll talk about that later on. But hey, guess what? I've got my replacement TWA bag ready to take on the trip. So let's see how we get on heading to Heathrow as we fly British Airways across the Atlantic. So as I walk through the advertising lit tunnel pathway that links the first wing security area with the first class lounge here at Terminal 5, that's the last time that I'm going to be able to check in and go through the first wing security for some time, because here at the beginning of January it closes in a day's time to fit new machines, and one of the customer services managers from British Airways was there, and he said, oh, you'll have a much better experience in the future, when I asked him all about it. So let's await those developments with interest. So Many of you familiar with this. It takes us into the first class lounge, so let's have a look. Soon it was time to head out to the B gates at Terminal 5 to board my flight. So I headed down, ready to take the people mover. I could have walked underneath, but I didn't fancy it, so I headed straight out to the B gates, and it was time to board the flight, looking at the winter weather equipment which was stored right next to my plane, some tractors and snowplows, and then down the jetty, heading towards the aircraft door, ready to get on that Boeing 777-300 with British Airways for the flight across the Atlantic to New York. Just a small little queue, a small delay on the jetty, not a big problem, and then I was on the aircraft. So let's have a look at this flight, the BA115, 1400 from London Heathrow to JFK on a Friday afternoon, heading across, of course, the North Atlantic. 8 hours 20 minutes. I was in seat 6K in business class. That's the aircraft layout, predominantly Club World first class. There's my seat. You can see me on the right hand side of the aircraft there. There is some economy and some premium economy, but we were on a Compton 3 Golf standard instrument departure from London Heathrow, runway 27 left, which takes us west out of London Heathrow and out over the Woodley navigational beacon towards Compton in Berkshire, and then of course you head west across the Atlantic. And here we are lining up on runway 27 left for our departure. So let's have a look at that routing then as the aircraft taxis out from London Heathrow onto runway 27 left. Heads out on that departure westward across west of England, South Wales, across Central Ireland and out over the Atlantic Ocean, heading over Canada and making US land over Maine and then down over New Hampshire, heading south over Long Island and Long Beach with that little loop before commencing an approach to New York's JFK, landing very close to Terminal 8, so it's only a short taxi onto the stand. Well, time to have a quick look around the seat. Here's the table that folds out of the British Airways Club suite. You see, quite large, quite substantial. You can move it to and fro, which is great if you're doing different things. Maybe eating, you might want it closer. If you're working, you might want it slightly further away. Cubby hole, that's where you put your feet when you're asleep, but there's also some storage down there as well, and things like the emergency aircraft information are there. Two storage areas. The first of those has got the handheld device for the entertainment system, also the plug sockets, the headphone sockets, the USB sockets, and you can store quite a bit of stuff in there actually. The second area is much less extensive, but it's quite good for storing some paperwork, magazines. You can just about fit the headsets in there as well. Quite a bit of space around the seat. There's an area for storing sort of magazines. You can also get an iPad in, a bottle of water provided for you in that cupboard there. That's the control center for the seat. The green light shows the seat is set up for takeoff and landing, but you can obviously recline the seat, you can extend it to a flat bed, or you can have it in an upright position. The in-flight entertainment system is not world leading, but it's a reasonably good system. Of course, it's got the in-flight map on. Sadly, British Airways have not followed the lead of other airlines with forward-facing cameras, but there's a variety of movies, TV, quite a lot of British Airways internal produced stuff about their marketing, their destinations, their aircraft, their history, particularly for their 100th anniversary. So overall, the Club World Suite is a good seat. There's quite a bit of space. You can see I'm stepping back there, filming the seat in an upright position. If you sat by the window, they are positioned towards the window, so it works quite well. I walked back down to the back of the plane and walked through economy, quite a small economy cabin really on the 777-300, one economy cabin with the seats 3, 4, 3. It's tight, but they've done a decent job. And then into a small World Traveller Plus cabin, which is behind the club cabin with business class seats, and there's 76 of those. It takes up a huge amount of the aircraft, which is why British Airways tend to use these 777-300s on these routes like London, New York, where the premium heavy layout works well for them in terms of yield. Well, we were above the North Atlantic. You can see the GE 90 engine there on the right hand wing. Hello from this British Airways 777-300 on this flight from London Heathrow across to New York John F. Kennedy Airport. The aircraft that I'm on today, Golf Sierra Tango Bravo Papa, is actually the youngest, newest 777 in the British Airways fleet. It's the last 777-300 delivered, one of a batch of 4 that arrived a little while after the other 777-300s. And was used to replace the 3 original 777-200s that had arrived at the very start of the 777's career in British Airways in the mid-1990s. They were sent off for scrap at St Athan. So it's great to be in a relatively new aircraft, just 3 years old. This aircraft arrived in British Airways fleet with the Club Suites cabins that's never operated with the older Club World seats. And it's been a good flight. No menus loaded on the aircraft. Well, I lie. There were menus loaded on the aircraft, but they were the menus for a flight to Mumbai, and we're going to New York. And the food and drink on a Mumbai flight is often quite different to New York, so they weren't much use, so we had no menus. And they're still offering the Christmas menu. I'm doing this flight on the 5th of January. Most of us have had Christmas lunch several times over. We've just about had enough of turkey. So BA was offering a vegetarian pasta, a lamb and roast turkey. Of course, everyone pretty much wanted the lamb, so they ran out of that. But luckily, I secured one of the lamb dishes before they ran out. The seat and the in-flight entertainment are working today. The screen's a little bit sticky, but I do enjoy these Club Suite seats. They're nice, they're spacious. I think they're particularly pleasant if you're travelling on your own. You know, if you're travelling as a couple or with a family, actually the old Club seats are quite nice and you can sit with a partner. But if you're travelling on your own, these are probably a much better option. So across the Atlantic, another sort of 3 and a bit hours to go. I've had a look at the arrivals. It's not too busy at JFK, so I'm hoping when we land at Terminal 8 there won't be a lot of other flights dumping people into the immigration hall, but we'll have to see. Afternoon tea there, just about adequate. I think the barbecue chicken with bread rolls, and I had a cup of peppermint tea. I wasn't so keen on the dessert that you can see there. Well, soon we were making our approach towards New York's JFK prior to landing at the airport. Overall, I enjoyed the flight. It was a good journey, obviously a relatively shorter transatlantic flight into JFK, but soon it was time to be getting my head around what global entry meant for me coming in to the US. So the door to the aircraft swung open. I wasn't quite the first out, but not too far away, and off into Terminal 8 at New York's JFK Airport. Well, I'd applied online back in the UK a few months before for the US Immigration's global entry. I'd done that first with the UK government and then through the US process, as you're supposed to do, and I'd been provisionally approved. And I'm keen to get global entry. You can see here from this background footage, you can use it at a kiosk, but increasingly now you're moving towards doing it directly on your mobile phone, and it really saves some queues. Certain airports like Los Angeles, Miami, JFK on occasions have been really busy, and I was in receipt of that screen image conditionally approved for my global entry. So the next stage is here.
Did you know you can do your global entry interview next time you return from an international trip? It's fast, simple, and convenient, and you don't even have to make an appointment. All you do is follow a few simple steps. Apply for global entry today. Check whether you're conditionally approved or renew your membership at ttp.dhs.gov or on the CBP One app. Most applicants will be conditionally approved within a few weeks. Then, next time you land from an international flight at a participating airport, just look for the Enrollment on Arrival signs on your way to the U.S. Customs and Border Protection area. A CBP officer will ask you a few questions. Capture your biometrics and complete your enrollment application. Which means, once approved, you can use global entry on your very next trip. Enrollment on Arrival. Fast, simple, convenient. Remember to look for Enrollment on Arrival signs or ask CBP personnel about Enrollment on Arrival next time you land in the U.S. from international travel.
Hello from the TWA Hotel here in JFK Airport in New York. It's great to be able to see this iconic structure after reading and seeing so much about it. I'm in the classic terminal building, and behind me you can see the Lockheed Constellation aircraft that forms a key part of the features of this hotel. That entered service flying across the Atlantic now 78 years ago. So an incredible achievement, that aircraft in what it did, and one of those aircraft was found, I think, up in New England and brought back down here, repainted, refurbished, and I enjoyed a small cocktail on the plane last night in the bar. So it's a morning here in New York. It's quite a cold morning, and I'm going to head out into New York. But I thought I'd show you one or two more features of this incredible building, including the original Solari board of departures. It's very much an imaginary set of flights that end up on there now, with destinations coming up like Dallas and Brussels, Bahrain, St. Lucia, but it's fantastic to see. So a great hotel here. It's not cheap, but it's a very enjoyable experience to stay here. I had a room that overlooked the apron and the departing runway. So fantastic if you're a bit of an av geek. If you're not interested in planes, I probably wouldn't bother, although it is very convenient right opposite Terminal 5. So let's head on our way out to New York. So there is another video on my YouTube channel, which I'll link to here, and that shows you my journey into New York and then on to Newark for the flight back to London. But before I left the TWA hotel, I headed back onto the roof gardens to have a look at arriving and taxiing aircraft. It was fascinating to see this Air India aircraft taxiing in from the runway, gingerly making its way towards its parking stand. Well, the viewing facilities at American airports has never been great, and JFK has never really had anywhere that you can easily view the aircraft from within the terminal complex. So this is a great addition. Hope you've enjoyed the video. I'll catch you real soon.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and click the notification button so you don't miss any of the great trips Mark has coming your way on this YouTube channel.